Hey, welcome back. Warren here with a big announcement to let you know that our browser-based MIDI player is now available. And most importantly, absolutely free. So if you've been, storing a lot of MIDI files, but you don't really have a readily, easily accessible player to play these MIDI files for you, this is your solution. You don't have to install anything. You don't have to download anything. All you have to do is go to the URL pianolessonwithwarren.com/MIDI player, and you'll see the player right there. It reads MIDI file. You can slow down MIDI file. You can transpose MIDI file to different key. And most importantly, it allows you to connect your keyboard. Once your keyboard is connected to your computer via a MIDI cable or a USB cable that sends MIDI data, the player automatically recognizes it and everything you play is reflected on the screen. So if you've been looking for a MIDI player that can work on all different devices and different browsers, this is your solution. I'm going to run through some of the features for you as to how this MIDI player works, and let me know what you think in the comment section. So there are two ways you can add a MIDI file to the player. The first and most obvious option is to click that yellow button that says Add MIDI file. Now once you click that button, it's going to bring up this dialog box, which is going to allow you to select the file directly from wherever you have it stored on your desktop or laptop. It also filters out non-MIDI files. So you notice all of these files right here that says MP4 are sort of blocked out. That's because it doesn't play MP4 or MP3 files, only MIDI files. So I'm going to select this one down here, How Great Thou Art, and it's going to load the file. Now once I hit the play button, the MIDI file will start to play. So that's one way of loading a MIDI file. Now, if I refresh the browser, then the MIDI file that was uploaded disappears and you can load a new file. You don't always have to refresh the browser to load a new file, but because I'm going to load the same file, that's why I refresh the browser so you can see. So I'm going to minimize the browser a little bit, and then I'm going to drag the file from my desktop. So I'm looking for How Great Thou Art. So once you grab the MIDI file and you bring it anywhere over the control bar, right here you notice that green dotted line appear around the bar. That means you can drop the file anywhere within this green line and the file will load. If you drop it outside of that green line, the green box, the files won't load. So these are the two ways you can add a MIDI file to the player. Click play and it will go. Now, the beauty about having a MIDI file is that then you can manipulate it in ways you can't really do with audio. One of the most important things that people like to do when learning piano from a visual approach, it's to be the ability to slow down the MIDI file, and this does just that. So if you look to the top right corner, you see the knob that says speed, and it's currently set to 100, so that's the default speed, 100%, the speed of which you imported the file. And then from there, you can start to lower it. So if I click play, and then decide let's hear what the file sounds like at 80%. So you see, I can drag this knob with my mouse, right? You can speed up the file or you can slow it down. So we're going to slow it down to 80. See what it sounds like now. If If you want to go slower, you can go what we call turtle speed, which is just dragging this knob all the way down to 21%. So that's real slow, right? But you have the option of moving the speed wherever you want it. So let me drag it back up to 100%, which is the standard speed. Another cool feature of the MIDI player is that it allows you to transpose. Now, this imported MIDI file is in the key of C. Now, it's important to know that the MIDI player aren't able to determine the key of the imported MIDI file. That's just not a feature. It can't read and determine the key. So if you look up here in the control, you might see that it says key of C, but that's default. Regardless of the key of the file that you import, it will always show C major. Because what happens now is when you start to change the key, this is when this knob will change. So for example, if I want to transpose it up a half step, I just slide the bar and you see it says transpose 1 semitone, right? That's what the ST stands for. And now you see the key change up here to D flat. And if I start sliding this knob all over the place, you see the key changing. B, G flat, F, E flat. And whatever is reflected there, that's what the key is in. So now it's in the key of A major. Let's hear what it sounds like in A major. What if I want to hear it in E major? So that's it. Speed knob and the transpose knob. Now up here you also see that it has a BPM, and that again is related to the speed, beats per minute, right? And as we change the speed knob by percentage, you also see the BPM changes. You can even come up here and type in a BPM. So if I want to go to 30 BPM, you can type that in as well. 30 BPM is reflected as 25% of the speed. So that's a cool feature. And the bar is just counting the amount of bars or measures in the song, the beats, keeping track of the different beats throughout the piece. So in this case, this piece is in 4/4, so it tells you where beat 1 always is. All right, let's put this back up at 100 BPM. So it's just counting beats. And then the time signature is reflected here as 3/4. And then the time here is just telling you the length of the track or a timestamp. So if you want to keep track of the time of the track, or you want to be able to rewind to a specific timestamp, this allows you to do it right there. Now, another important feature of the player is the ability to loop different sections of the track. So you notice as the file is playing, you see this yellow line right here, which is just tracking the length of the player. I'm going to start over the track, and then I'm going to turn on my loop. So by clicking this circular arrows, it turns on the loop feature. And then you can set a loop point and set a loop end point. So start and end. So I'm going to click play. And what if I want there to be my loop point, my start point, right? I just click start. And now I just click my end loop. So you see the loop from here to here. Now the track will continue to play within these parameters of the loop. So you see, once it gets here, it rewinds. Right? So that's how the loop feature works. If you want to get rid of the loop, you just turn off the loop, and then you can play the file as normal. So this is a great player for people with MIDI files and wanting the ability to see what that looks like on the piano. It reads the note for you, read the chords, and again, allow you to slow down the file so you can pick out the notes, especially for visual learners. Now, another important feature of this MIDI player is that you can connect your keyboard directly to it. You don't have to install anything. You don't have to download anything. Once you have a MIDI cable or a USB cable connected to your keyboard that sends MIDI data, the player will automatically recognize it. So I'm sitting around my keyboard, and now whatever I play here shows up there, right? And it even tells me the chords that I'm playing. Pretty cool. You know, this is also recognizing my sustain pedal. So as I press my sustain pedal, you see it reflected on the player. So I get to see how I'm utilizing my sustain pedal as well. So everything I play is reflected on the player. So it's a great way for you to practice as well. It's also a great way for you to learn chords as you're playing. You're not sure what chord you're playing. The player will tell you what chord you're playing as soon as you press it. And again, the beauty about this, you don't have to install anything. You don't have to download anything. The player works best on Google Chrome browser, but it actually can work on all browsers. But we do recommend using Google Chrome because it just works better. Google Chrome is a very powerful browser, and this player seems to work best on this. All right, so that's it. Those are the features of the MIDI player. Please do spread the word, share it with your friends, family, anyone who will find this useful. All right, until then, keep listening, keep singing, keep practicing, because this is how you'll continue to grow as a musician. Bye for now, and talk soon.